This is Horror Spoop, and this is our second interview that I've ever done. So just strap in and have a good time. All right. Right now we have Eve Hovey. Now she is in. Are you in the second part of Halloween Inferno?
Yeah, my character is introduced in the second part.
Okay, in the second part. I have not watched the second part. I've only watched the first part, and then this one is coming out October 25th,
Yeah,
and
October
it's the
25th.
and it's the third part. Brought out by was the Cooper brothers,
Coleman
the
Brothers.
Coleman brothers. That's my
Yeah,
fault.
Coleman Films.
All right, Coleman Films. And are you a Halloween fan? Are you a fan of the series itself?
Actually, yeah, so Halloween was one of the first scary movies that I really sat and watched. It was the Halloween of my 6th grade year, and I was dressed up as the Mad Hatter, just waiting to go out and trick or treat, and I think it was like Halloween 4 or 5 was on. And I ended up really regretting that I had to go out and trick or treat and I couldn't sit and just watch all the Halloween movies. So it's definitely a series that's really important to me as a horror fanatic. So getting to play the role was really exciting.
Awesome. Well, let me ask you, are you a fan of Halloween 3? Are you one of those people that are a fan of that, or do you think it should have never been there, or what is that?
So I'll be honest, I have not watched it all the way through yet, but from what I saw of it and what I know of it, I think it's a good horror movie when you look at it, on its own. I don't know if it was the best choice for them to do at the time because I know it disappointed a lot of fans, but it's still a good movie as it is.
As a standalone film, I tell people, as a standalone film, people would enjoy this movie a lot more. But since it
Yeah.
was supposed to have Michael Myers, they don't like it.
Right.
Which I totally agree. I think the movie's awesome. It's actually one of my favorite movies. But again, it would be better if it was just called The Season of the Witch instead of Halloween 3, The Season of
Yeah.
the Witch. So that's definitely the truth. I am a big Halloween fan. I'm a fan of 4 and 5. I like Jamie. I like Daniel Harris as little Jamie. I think that's probably my favorite ones. But I do like the first and second one as well. Do you enjoy any of Rob Zombie's films of Halloween? And if so,
Um,
what's the inspiration from this Halloween? Is this Halloween for Halloween Kills, the latest series that's going to be coming out, or is this something that they wanted to do separately and it's not really involved with any of that kind of thing, or what would it be?
So with Halloween Inferno, it's definitely most inspired by the first 2 Halloween movies. And then there's a little bit of that Halloween Kills vibe thrown in there too, just with it being so set in the modern era. But it's definitely far removed from the Rob Zombie Halloween movies. I know the Coleman brothers can't stand those ones. For me, I'm a Rob Zombie fan. I do like what he does. I like his niche. I like his brand. I get a kick out of it. I have a fun time watching any of his movies, really.
Dude, I like it. I like. I'm a fan of gore. I'm a fan of just brutality, having a good time like that. It's kind of like this free mentality to just be
Yeah.
terrible people. And
Yeah, well, his House of a Thousand Corpses trilogy is one of my most precious horror
yeah,
series in my heart.
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
I am biased about the rest of his movies.
I agree. I understand that. I'm actually a big fan of Lords of Salem and movies like that. But I for one do like the Rob Zombie's Halloween, but I do understand people's problems with it, and I
Yeah.
seem to just let that go because I understand that part. Uh,
Yeah, all the criticism is valid.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So in this new movie that's coming out, and do you really have a span of how long this film's going to be? It's not really very long for the other films. So is it going to be any
Yeah,
longer?
so I haven't seen an edit yet, but from what I've heard, it's going to be longer than each of the first 2 parts. So over 10 minutes long. So I'm pretty excited.
That sounds awesome to me. I'm a big fan of Michael Myers. I really love the music that's involved with the movie because it reminds me of the first and second Halloweens. Uh, More like just I don't know, like small drum part with just a keyboard, and that's all that really sticks out to me. and it just reminds me of that. And in the first part, my favorite part is right at the beginning. This guy gets choked from the back seat by Michael Myers, and I was like, you can't get more Halloweeny than that. So
Yeah.
I was very impressed right away from it. I also like the understanding of the jack-o'-lantern on fire, Halloween Inferno. I think that's an awesome idea. Uh, so I really think that's really cool, and I'm also a big fan of all these fan films coming out of different movies. Uh, I honestly myself can't get enough of them. So this is something right down my alley. I can always have something, and there's always Halloween parts that are coming out. I think the first part was released like a year ago, or something like that. And so if it was a year ago that the first part was set out, I would love to see Halloween Inferno Part 27 if they would want to go that far. Just because I can't get enough. It's one of those things that slasher films were always my favorite. So
Yeah.
they kind of hold a place with me because when I was young, I started watching the slasher films. So
Yeah, and we as a crew kind of have the same feeling because I also worked on like the art department. So when I wasn't there acting, I was still there most of the time, like setting up the sets or running fog. But like every time we would finish another part, it was like we scratched the itch, but like we just wanted to do more. We would just get more ideas, and James and Vince were always had something new cooking up, and it's hard to say no. It's impossible to say no. It's just too fun to make.
it sounds like it. It seems like it would be a really fun time. Where did a lot of this? Where did a lot of this get filmed at? Was I see that you're a part of Nox Luna Films and Media, which says it's in New York. So I'm assuming maybe in that area.
Yeah, so Nox Luna and Coleman Brother Films, we work really closely together, but we're based out of the Rochester, New York area. So it's really a variety of locations around Rochester and in the neighboring cities. Like Rochester is a mid-sized city with a wide variety of areas within like an hour drive radius around it. So we
Yeah.
actually have a good amount to pick from, and a lot of the towns and neighborhoods around here have that sort of Haddonfield vibe.
Okay, that's perfect. That's actually like the coolest answer I could get. Uh, so in the movie you're playing Lily Hawkins. Can you tell me a little bit about who Lily Hawkins is? I know you can't give too much away from stuff, but I mean, some people might know you from part two, so.
Yeah. So, well, it's a spoiler for part two for you, but Lily Hawkins is the police sheriff Hawkins' daughter, and she finds out in part two that her father was killed. And then from then on, she's just kind of searching for answers, and she doesn't quite know if it was Michael Myers or yet. She was really kept in the dark. And when I got into it, and I was sort of making the character and making the backstory in my head to really feel for her, with losing her father, I kind of thought up that she was definitely a daddy's girl, and he taught her how to shoot and everything, and she would laugh at his cheesy classic rock music in the car, even though she secretly ended up liking it.
Okay, I get
So
that.
sort of has this big backstory behind her just for this really small glimpse at her life, which really turns out to be probably the worst night of her life.
Man, it's not, I mean, anything involved with the shape, I would assume it would be a pretty bad time.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean,
But
even now, when I go back and I watch the first Halloween, I get the creeps for a few days afterwards,
oh,
anytime I'm in my room. So yeah,
I,
I'm
I would,
glad I'm not Lily Hawkins in real life, that's for sure. Never want to meet Michael
absolutely,
Myers.
absolutely. Yeah, in the first film, when you're seen from one house to another and you're looking across the street and you see him walking around the house, I think that's one of the most chilling scenes because there's just
Yeah.
like faint music in the background and you just see him walking so slowly. I can't stand how slow Michael Myers walks, and he's such a force to reckon with, and he doesn't even have to run after you. And that's what scares me so bad is he is a legitimate shape. He is the shape, which just the name alone is pretty
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah, nothing can stop him too. He'll just always be dreadfully creeping up.
Man, it is terrible because, in the first Halloween film, he was shot what, 7 times, fell off a balcony, and then he lived to tell the tale, or not tell the tale, as it would go. But so where can everybody find you on Instagram?
So on Instagram, my name is Halloween__Eve. That's 2 underscores in between, and yep. And so that's pretty much where it's kind of like a diary actually of how I got started in everything. You can see a lot of my posts for when I first started acting in a haunted house around here. So
yeah, very cool. Yeah, I saw pictures of like clown makeup and stuff like that, and I myself always kind of had a fear of clowns. Not the biggest fan of clowns. So, but I understand the reason behind them because they scare me, and that's kind of the point in some situations. So, except for at circuses or places where they're meant to be fun, I still don't enjoy them that much. But also, Nox Luna Films, is that what the ad is for the Instagram there?
Yeah, so that's the other Instagram that I'm a part of. So I'm production manager over at Nox Luna Films, and then our art director and pretty much like our DIT, the tech guy, who pretty much made everything actually able to get done. Every crazy idea that James and Vince cooked up, Tim kind of helped to make sure that it actually happened. But his is Nox Luna Media too.
Okay, that's awesome. And Halloween Inferno is the Instagram as well.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that's the Instagram for the film.
yep, I am a big fan. I'm very excited to see it. I'm very excited to watch the second part, honestly.
Yeah,
I wish I came a little more prepared. But
it's okay.
I'm
You just have
excited.
more to enjoy now.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I actually get a little more
watched
backstory.
it when it came out, you would have been waiting all this time for part 3,
Oh,
and that
man.
would have been dreadful.
No, all my fingernails would have been gone. It would have been terrible.
Yeah.
Just chewing at the bit. But other than that, thank you so much for being here. And this is actually my second interview, so you actually survived it, and that's perfect.
Thank you. And thank you for having me on my first interview.
Yeah, absolutely. I know it wasn't the best, but hopefully you'll have more, and it'll be better. So there's always
I think you set the bar decently high.
Oh, thank you so much. But anyway, Halloween Inferno, it's going to be out October 25th. And I am so excited to see you on the screen and also the story of slashers because 'tis the season for that kind of thing. What horror movie would you tell people to watch for Halloween? One movie.
One movie. Well, my very, very favorite would have to be the remake of Suspiria. Though I love the original, I think everybody should give the remake of Suspiria a try.
Absolutely.
It's great. It's dreadful. It's a bit of a slow burn. Very odd. Very different. Really cool.
Yeah, I'm actually a big fan. The girl in it was also the Ice Witch from Chronicles of Narnia.
Yeah, Tilda Swinton. Oh my God. She's incredible.
I love her as an actress altogether. I think she's very good at everything she does. I was very surprised by the remake. I actually, at first, it took me a while to actually watch it. I didn't want to because the original is a really good movie. And really, all the Suspiria, I mean, this movie is really good. The remake, you're right, it's definitely worth watching. It took me time, but I'm very glad I did it. So Suspiria is a very good answer for the Halloween time. So anyway, I hope you are staying safe with all this COVID stuff, and I hope that your Halloween is perfect, and thank you so much for being on this with me.
Thanks for having me, and you as well.
All right, this is Eric Lewis, this is Horror Spoop, and we'll catch you again.